This is a crash course. All right, this is a crash course on section views. Now, we have dealt with isometric views. We've dealt with our multi-views with front, top, and side. We've done hidden lines. We've done center lines. We've done center marks. Kind of the last part of this notation is section views. So what a section view is going to do is it's going to allow us to slice an object in one of these views so we can actually see what's behind our work. And the reason we do that is because sometimes hidden lines don't quite tell the story. So if I look at our image, this is our top view, so there must be a hole kind of chilling in the middle on that bottom face. And we can definitely see that with our front view, but we're not going to be able to dimension it to that spot. So what a section view is we are essentially slicing our object, usually in half in a certain spot that we want, and we're looking at what's left over. So if I imagine like a hot knife that is cutting through this part, I need to note any part of the object that that knife or that blade has touched. And what that does for us is two things. In the view that we sliced, we're going to draw these little section lines right here to show that, hey, this is where we're chopping and this is the direction that we're looking. And in the view that was actually sliced, we need to color it to show that those parts were actually affected by the cut itself. So what I think about is the body exhibit. If you've ever seen this in like a traveling museum or something like that. So the body exhibit is where we have real bodies, real cadavers that were sliced in different directions so you can see what's going on the inside, right? So if you look at a person, obviously you can't see bones or organs, hopefully, and things like that. But if we were to slice, we can see what's actually going on inside the body. And we can do it in multiple directions too, right? So if I wanted to check out like how the bones sort of connect in these slices, notice how if I slice the leg here, I can see how the bones kind of change as we go, right? So a section view is going to allow us to actually see what's going on inside of the part. And there's a lot of different ways that we can cut this. So if we look at A right here, so we're slicing at this spot and we're looking in from there. So if I were to do a section view of this in my front view, I am going to color in any part that has been touched by that cutting plane. So notice the hole is untouched because it's not actually messing with the cut. If I were to go the other direction, I'm going to slice down the middle this way. We have all of these parts are getting touched by that actual cut, so I need to color that in my drawing. Another little look at it, if we have this part, it just looks like a block with a countersink screw hole. If I were just to look at this, it's just going to look like a block with a hole in it. But with the section view, I can slice it right down the middle, and this is kind of what I see. So my plane touches these parts right here, and we can see where the countersink screw should go. So a lot of times you won't have to mess with your actual drawing. You'll just have to add maybe some object lines or some section lines or something like that. So let's check out one more. If we were doing the front section view of this, so I am cutting right down the middle and we're looking this direction. So in the ISO view, it's kind of like we're cutting like this and we're trying to see what's going on. So what that means for our front view is any place that blade cut, we're going to color in. So notice how it's like right, oops, let me go back. Right before the hole. So we have this section is cut. We leave the hole alone. We have this section plus kind of the rim of that hole. And the same thing on the other side. So now what you need to do is on Canvas, go ahead and open up the yoke example. This is kind of our first little practice that we did. Go ahead and open that up, pause the video, and then when we come back, we'll have this open so that we can practice real quick. Okay, I have my file open and ready to go. We have our top view, our front view, and our side view all set for us. We also have the section view right there. So it looks like we are going to be chopping this yoke here and looking at it kind of going forward. So notice how we have a couple of holes going through that top part and we have a hole going through that bottom part. So we need to denote where that chop is happening, where that's actually touching. So first thing, I need to go up to my section layer because we're doing some sectioning stuff. And all we need to do is hatch it. Make sure that we have our little angled hatch, usually ANSI 31. And I'm just going to color in all of those parts that the blade or the cutting plane is going to touch. So one's going to be right here. We're going to avoid the holes because the blade is not touching the hole itself, but it will touch kind of right above it. And we also have this part down here. So this is showing anything that was touched by that cutting plane. Since we opened this up and we're looking on the inside, these lines are no longer hidden, actually. So we need to change those to object lines because we can actually see it now. So I'm just going to select all of those that are now exposed, and I'm going to send them back into the object layer. So I'm going to right click on them, maybe zoom in a little bit so I can actually get it. Go to Properties, go to Layer, and I'm going to push it into the object layer. And just make sure we still have on our center lines and our center marks. Whoops. And now we have object lines of the things that are exposed. All right, so we are good to go with our very first section view.